that's the cool night to do it. But we alternate years. Anyway, thank you.
Giving out of what is our own is a transformative act. As a community of faith, we collect an offering not for ourselves or our congregation, but to give to others as a collective action of our community and as a way to live out our shared values. Please give with a generous heart to support our December Share the Plate recipient, the Minister's Discretionary Fund. This fund is administered by the minister and provides immediate financial assistance to members of this congregation or the community who are experiencing a financial emergency. It can mean the difference between someone making it through a difficult stretch or slipping further behind. As a previous recipient of funds from this fund, I can tell you it was very appreciated. It helped me through a rough spot. I know it helps others as well. The remaining 25% of our offering goes to our ongoing commitment to Interfaith Ministries Meals on Wheels, feeding Houston's seniors. We have 3 ways to give. You can go to our webpage for online giving. You can put your offering in one of the baskets, or you can mail a check to the church.
Find a comfortable place to be or in your seats, and place your feet flat on the floor if you can and if you will, so that you might feel grounded, more connected to the earth which nourishes and sustains us all. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so, and take a deep breath in. As together we enter into a time of meditation, followed by silence. What if there were a universe, a cosmos, that began in shining blackness out of nothing, out of fire, out of a single silent breath, and into it came billions and billions of stars, stars beyond imagining, and near one of them a world, a blue-green world so beautiful that learned clergy people could not even speak about it cogently. And brilliant scientists, in trying to describe it, began to sound like poets with their physics, with their mathematics, their empirical, impressionistic musing. What if there were a universe in which a world was born out of a smallish star, and into that world, at some point, flew red-winged blackbirds, and into it swam sperm whales, and into it came crocuses, and wind to lift the tiniest hairs on naked arms in the spring when you run out to the mailbox. And into it, at some point, came onions out of soil, and came Mount Everest, and also the coyote we've been seeing in the woods about a mile from here, just after sunrise, in these mornings when the moon is full. The very scent of him makes his brother, our dog, insane with fear and joy and ancient inbred memory. Into that world came animals and elements and plants and imagination, the mind and the mind's eye. If such a universe existed, and you noticed it, what would you do? What song would come out of your mouth? What prayer, what praises, what sacred offering, what whirling dance, what religion, and what reverential gesture would you make to greet the world every single day that you were in it? Let us enter into the silence as we wonder together. Amen, and blessed be.
Friday evening. Anybody else get caught in a downpour when they were trying to get home from work or school? Yeah, it was one of those where it went from absolutely nothing to it got kind of dark till whew. And I briefly considered, okay, I can just stay here at the church until the storm passes. But I needed to get to the library before it closed. I had evening plans. I grabbed one of the church umbrellas. Yes, this is a benefit to working at a church, is there's always people leaving umbrellas around. And ran out to my car. Went to the library around the corner, picked up my books, and when I came out to my car, what did I see in the sky, Jackie? A rainbow. I don't know about you, but no matter how busy my day, when I am struck by a rainbow, I say, wow. And there's just that moment of everything else can wait. I am going to drink in this rainbow. Now, scientifically, I know exactly what causes a rainbow. And it is useful to know, that you're going to look in the direction that, the sun's here, the rain's here. It's useful to know which way to turn your body to have the best experience of the rainbow. But I don't need to reflect on the science whenever I see a rainbow. I just can say, wow. Think about times in your life when you say, wow. Like the kids have been fighting all day, but suddenly they decide to get along. Oh, wow. Those everyday moments, some of which you can totally explain with science or developmental theories or a recipe, and some that you can't. Big questions of life and God and how did that oil burn for 8 days? And yet in all of them, we have these moments that strike us, that take our attention and make us say, wow. It might be awe, it might be wonder, but it transports us. So we're going to do a little something. At the ends of the pews, we have these little sheets of paper, and I would like everybody to write down on a piece of paper something that makes them say, wow. Please try to do it legibly because we will be reading aloud what you have to say. I'm going to give you just a minute, and if you need paper, if you're not close enough, just raise your hand. I will give you some. I also have a couple baskets I'm going to put in the aisle, and we will talk about that in a minute. If you have somebody sitting near you who needs a piece of paper or some help writing things down, you can feel free to help. Okay, so I just checked the weather for I don't know, the 20th time this weekend. You may have heard that on Thursday night it is going to get cold in Houston. Friday it's going to stay cold in Houston. Saturday it's going to be cold in Houston. And there's a very slight chance, that toward the end of that we might get some precipitation. And you know what that means? It means there is a slight chance that we could have a white Christmas, y'all. I heard that ugh. Let's try to be in the holiday spirit. Remember, you got a Midwesterner talking right now. I can handle a little snow. So we don't know whether or not we're going to get to have that snow. So what we're going to do right now is you're going to take your piece of paper, make it into a ball, and throw it into the center aisle, preferably toward one of those baskets, and we're going to have a little bit of a snowball toss. If you hit somebody with it, make it a snowball fight, that's fine, but please avoid all the candles. I don't want to go down in history for that. Okay, anybody sitting near the aisle who'd like to help us kind of tidy up a bit and get them in the baskets, that would be awesome. Thank you. Bella. They make me faster than you are, Bella.
Katie, there's one under the pew.
Oh, see, Bella can see that. Thank you. Miss Mary, if you can come help me. So, what makes us say, wow? Oh, Bella helped us with the last ball. Aw, I wonder who wrote this one. My sweetheart, Bonnie. Can we get a mic? Lectern? Lectern mic?
Yeah? All right.
Yeah.
This has three things on it: babies, pomegranates, and randomness.
Beautiful music.
A super athletic feat.
When I pray for something and it comes true.
A pastoral scene in a national park.
Somebody writes far faster than I do. Spider webs, bird songs, and all the sounds from little throats. Bird nests, how did they manage? Without fingers, how do they know? And the individuality of snowflakes and people, each unique.
Lightning.
No fair. Okay. Having an enormous view or just being at a high place.
Ducks blocking, squirrels, rainbows, northern lights, stars on a super clear night in the country.
Plagiarism says beautiful music. Oh, no. Probably just, people can like the same thing.
Duchess de Brabant Rose.
A sunset of many colors painted across the sky.
Heavy rain.
Seeing a well-trained dog doing tricks and behaving in a park.
My baby.
Pictures of birds with a spectacular coloring.
Seeing all the neighborhood cats relaxing in my driveway with no drama or fights.
Beautiful prose.
A turquoise blue ocean.
Beautiful, colorful sunsets. All the birds gathered on phone lines this time of year. Seeing my friends' kids grow. Old buildings and ruins.
The sparkling ripples of water on a clear, quiet lake.
Ooh, this person got really serious about crumpling. Hearing a long-forgotten song.
Majestic moments in nature.
Children in total carefree play. A sunrise with extreme colors, especially over water. Music that makes my heart double beat.
Christmas bonus.
My glasses would help. Seeing planets in the sky.
Performers at a Rockets game doing acrobatics, spinning on the floor, etc.
Watching Bella, our beloved service dog, eagerly close the dishwasher door.
Something astonishing. Workers are astonished when I offer them something to drink.
A great musical performance.
Puppies frolicking. Snow in Houston.
When the cats with their love-hate relationship are curled together sleeping.
Beautiful music. Nature.
D minor. Tell me. Oh, D minor 9.
There you go.
I'm glad we have a translator here.
Winter solstice.
When I see a sunset going over the bridge on the way home.
Full moon, clear blue sky, day or night, rainbow, plants that I planted actually survive and maybe flourish.
I'll finish up so you can get up. And another for winter solstice. Did we say puppies? Okay. Okay. So obviously in this room, we already have a pretty good understanding of wonder, awe, and all that joy that comes with it. And now our choir will present our special music, One Light, a Hanukkah song, based on a traditional Welsh carol and arranged by Evan Ramos.
Something very special about us. I've been wondering about curious. It could be something that somebody else knows or not. It's just kind of everyday wonder, curiosity. But then there's that wonder, that really, really big wonder that we can experience. Like when we actually do know the answer and actually do know how something works or where it comes from or what it means, but the answer is just so big, so humongous, that we can't really grasp our minds around it. We know it, we understand it, and yet it's still so big, it's almost incomprehensible. Like we can't really, really bring it in. Like what happened 13.8 billion years ago with something called the Big Bang. Tiny, tiny, tiny pinprick, smaller than a pinprick. That's all there was, just before the beginning of our universe, filled with heat and energy. And in less than a second, this massive, massive, unimaginably huge explosion. Now, I used to think about this explosion all the time as this big, huge explosion of light, just like, I guess I've never seen an explosion in person. On TV, on video, YouTube, whatever. Fire, light, right? Not so. The light, while it existed early on, was in a diffuse form. It wasn't until 380,000 years after the Big Bang that the universe became transparent and light could be seen. Light was separated out in a way. So this big explosion happened, this big dark explosion that was so powerful that if we had been there, couldn't even really see because of the lack of light. And all these particles, tiny particles, spread in this faster than the speed of light, unimaginably, almost too fast to even measure pace, with the universe expanding outwards. They weren't even atoms yet, not at first. It was the little pieces like the protons and quarks and all those different things. And then, eventually, many, 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 many years later, these particles formed atoms and molecules. They came together, mostly hydrogen and maybe a little bit of helium, into the center with gravity of stars. They formed stars with this immense, highly pressurized core of the stars, which smushed all these atoms, these hydrogen atoms together, and started to form other elements like carbon and oxygen and nitrogen. You all know that's what we're made out of, right? Yes. So then these stars would then explode, and all these new elements, the hydrogen, not just a little bit of hydrogen that was maybe from the beginning of the Big Bang, but also the carbon and the oxygen and all the other elements spread out into the universe, and then eventually came together with gravity and formed our Earth and the plants and the animals and the oceans and the water and us. It's a long way of saying, you know what my point is, right? You do know, right? We are made out of stardust. We are literally 90-something% made of stardust. Our very bits of DNA were forged in those hot, highly pressurized centers of those really massive stars. We are stardust, and we are all connected. So, I'm going to ask a question that might surprise you a little bit, but who feels like they might need a little bit of a blessing today? I've got a special one. This is to remind you that you are made of stardust, that you are amazing, amazingly and wonderfully made. And we can put this either on your forehead or on the back of your hand, wherever you would like it. I have some glitter. Don't tell Katie. I think who was somebody over here was raising their hands. Julia. Me too. Where do you want it? On your forehead?
I would like some highlight, actually.
I did say a blessing, not a makeup artist session.
Tomato, tomato. No, I'm kidding. You just put it.
All right. Julia, you are made out of stardust, and you are amazing and wonderfully made. Come on up. Pat, you are made out of stardust, and you are wonderfully and amazingly made. Where would you like it? Okay. Hillary, you are made out of stardust, and you are wonderfully and amazingly made. Charlie, you are made out of stardust, and you are wonderfully and amazingly made. April, you are made out of stardust, and you are wonderfully and amazingly made. Zena, you are made out of stardust, and you are wonderfully and amazingly made. Ada, where would you like it? On your forehead or your hand? Okay. Ada, you are made out of stardust, and you are wonderfully and amazingly made. Sarah, you are made out of stardust, and you are wonderfully and amazingly made. Ruth, you are made out of stardust, and you are wonderfully and amazingly made. Elena, you are made out of stardust, and you are wonderfully and amazingly made. Ruth, you are made out of stardust, and you are wonderfully and amazingly made. Bonnie, You are made out of stardust, and you are wonderfully and amazingly made. Hans, you are made out of stardust, and you are wonderfully and amazingly made. Dory, you are made out of stardust, and you are wonderfully and amazingly made. This will also be available at social hour if anyone changes their mind later. You know, there is something else I wonder about sometimes. There is a story that I'm sure you're all familiar with. It's at the very beginning of the Hebrew Scriptures and the Christian Bible. It's the story of Genesis, about the way that the world was made. Did you know that on the second day, God separated the light from the dark? Sounds about 380,000 years after the Big Bang to me, a little bit. I wonder often if we are to think about some of the stories in the scripture in a metaphorical sense, where time is not a literal day or night, but just a unit of time. How is it? How is it that a people so old and so ancient, without the scientific resources or academic study that we have now, how did they get so many pieces of the story right? I wonder about that quite a bit. I hope you find something wonderful to wonder about today, too.
In moonlit shadows at the edge of night-darkened oak trees, I see it. Across sunny pathways in the buzzing of insects amongst the flowering forest greenery, I hear it. From the touch of one's loved, the embraces of those gone before me, I feel it. In the poems I love dearly, the songs that speak to my heart, the sculpture that catches my imagination, the discoveries still to be made, I sense it. It is in the fires of distant suns, the cool drip of waters, the slight chill in the breeze, the laughter of children no matter what their age, old and young, grown and still small. It is the breath of life, the stardust of souls, the magic of remembrance. Who am I not to surrender to it in gratitude? Who am I to not be blessed? Please rise now in body and or spirit for our closing hymn, number 345, With Joy We Claim the Growing Light.
With joy we claim the growing light.
We all emerge from, dwell within, are transformed by, and called back to love. May your mind be humbled before this mystery. May your heart grow hopeful by it. May you be sustained by this love always. Amen, and blessed be.
Okay. We will have social time here and on the Zoom. And the lunch bunch today will be at Flo Paris, which is straight down the road. Is that the right direction? Straight down the road. Our solstice service will be at 7 o'clock Wednesday, right here back in the sanctuary. Yes, there are candles, and more candles on Christmas Eve service, 5:30 p.m. on Saturday. So Christmas Day, we will have a little bagel brunch, and you can talk to Dory in the back if you'd like to hear more about that. And I hear that on New Year's Day, not only are we having a potluck and a cool little ritual, but people can wear pajamas to church. On the business side of things, our annual congregational meeting is on Sunday, January 22nd in the sanctuary at 12:30, and an informational session on the church budget will be held on Sunday, January 8th at 12:30. Anyone who has been a member for at least 90 days has a vote, and if you're somebody who needs to write an annual report, those are due January 4th, 2023, by email to Alejandra. And now our postlude.